Michael Bociurkiw. You're a spokesperson for the special monitoring mission in Ukraine. You want to say a few words about the mission and where it finds itself actually?
Sure. Well, so we arrived in Ukraine at the end of March of this year after the mandate was unanimously approved by 57 participating states of the OSCE. And essentially we're there to monitor the general security situation in Ukraine, also to help facilitate dialogue, to help facilitate access, for example, as we did with MA17. At the moment, we have about 270 monitors. That's set to almost double to 500. We're in 10 cities across Ukraine. And the new monitors that we're getting, including, by the way, from Canada, we're getting 21 monitors, will be deployed to the east of Ukraine, because that is where the conflict continues. We report daily, we report weekly, we issue spot reports. And people may ask, well, what is the impact of all this output? The impact is that, we want people to know what exactly verified information, what exactly is happening on the ground there. And we hope that everything we do, the reporting, the facilitation of dialogue, it leads the country closer to a durable and long-lasting ceasefire.
To what extent can you monitor actually the border situation between Ukraine, particularly Luhansk, and Russia?
Well, we have a sister border monitoring mission on the Russian side. It's a small one. It's about 20 colleagues, and they monitor 2 border checkpoints. But we also do some border monitoring. We want to increase our capability to monitor the border. It is a very long one, as you know. And also, in the topic of increasing our capabilities, we recently acquired 4 unmanned aerial vehicles, also known as drones. And those will be kind of our eye in the sky. It'll help us to kind of penetrate deeper into the contact zone and also closer to the border to monitor movements of heavy artillery or damage to infrastructure, that sort of thing.
Michael, you were almost the first Westerner with your team to access the crime scene after the downing of the Malaysian Airlines flight in mid-July. And more generally, the humanitarian situation has been extremely dire in eastern Ukraine. You want to speak to the experience of the monitors and actually living through that situation?
Well, it was a very, very difficult time. I mean, we were honored. We still feel that way. We feel privileged to be where we are right now in this point of history. We like to feel we're playing a very important role. We do assume a lot of risk. There's no doubt about that. And as you know, for an entire month, 8 of our international colleagues were kidnapped, 4 of them incommunicado the entire time. And yes, we were at MH17 24 hours after the plane came down. Horrific scene there. But again, the feeling of privilege was there in the sense that there was a huge information gap. Not many people knew what was happening. And we were there for the families at the end of the day. A lot of them relied on the information that we were putting out through our daily reports and also through media interviews. And now, there's a situation where we could have a humanitarian disaster on our hands. The figure of IDPs, registered IDPs, is 400,000. That's a lot. And if you take the unregistered, it's probably closer to 1 million. And many of them are going to face a very, very difficult winter if nothing is done quickly to supply them with proper shelter, essential goods, clothes, food, that sort of thing.
Michael, you grew up in the Ukrainian community here in Ottawa. Your father was a well-known professor at Carleton. Did you ever envisage finding yourself in such an under the international spotlight in such a war situation?
No one. I'd never have dreamed this. But I'm very privileged. I'm proud as a Canadian to be in this position. I'm part of Canada's contribution to the Special Monitoring Mission. I think I was raised in a family that, this duty of service was very much cultivated in us. We were very active in the Ukrainian community. We traveled a lot. My father, was very active in not only academic circles, but in, for example, he served on the National Museums Board. He was one of the first of his kind of generation, along with Senator Yuzik, to break through that mainstream kind of curtain, if you will, and do really, really great things. So we admired him, of course, and I feel very privileged to kind of follow in those big, big footsteps.
Well, thanks so much, and thanks so much for taking the time to come to the Danyliw seminar.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.
Bye-bye.